Ever wondered why Python is a go-to language in tech? Well, buckle up. Today we are learning the importance of Python and its syntax. Python's simplicity and widespread application from automation to data science and web development not only make it beginner-friendly, but also versatile and valuable skill for advancing your professional journey. In this exclusive video, Akash Rajpuria, a data scientist at Pfizer, will lead you through the fundamentals of Python. Join him as he emphasizes the significance of acquiring Python skills and share valuable insights to enhance your expertise. So stick around to discover why Python should be on your learning radar. Let's jump in. Before we jump into the lesson, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and unlock more premium data science content.
We are starting here with Python, but what is Python first of all? So basically Python is called as programming language. What do you mean by programming language? A language like we have English, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Bengali, like that. It is one of the language, but this is a language used to communicate with computer. Okay, not for human to human communication, but to communicate with computer. But Akash, why I need to communicate to computer? Is there any need? Yes, exactly. The need is whenever you want to make computer perform any task, when you want that computer should perform the task for you, at that time you would require programming. For example, it can be a simple task of adding two numbers. It can start from such basic that you want a computer should add two numbers for you. Like the best example for that is a calculator. That can be the simplest task. Going to a complex, the most complex task, let's say to design a spaceship, that what speed it should be, when it should lower the speed, when it should higher the speed. Okay, to making a spaceship, making the robots that you see, the self-driving car. Okay, right now you see the large language models in the world like ChatGPT. This is all example of programming where you give the task to a computer. So for all this task starting from simple to the complex, you require to communicate with computer. You cannot do that in Hindi, English or Marathi. You need a Python language for that. Now, why only Python? There are so many languages. There are a lot of reasons for that. Why do we need only Python? The first and the foremost is that Python is the simplest language which anyone can start learning and understanding. So even if you have no background in Python, immediately you can start learning Python. You would see the example of that right now in the session also. That is the foremost thing. Now, let's get started with Python and directly understand on the screen very interesting part of it. So right now we will understand it from the very basics. So the first and the foremost thing is variables. Now what is variables? Now right now, for example, if I ask you what is the value of pi, tell me what is the value of pi. You have this pi in your memory. Exactly in the same way computer have their own memory, that is called as variables. So variables are nothing, just the memory locations. Okay, you can say that empty memory locations where you can make computer remember something. Now a big question, Akash, why do we want to make computer remember something? Just imagine it, keep it from a story perspective. If a human does not have memory, will it work? Can you sit in the session if you don't have memory? Can you do any task if you have no memory? Perfectly no. So computer also cannot do any task if it does not have memory. So memory are very important and variables are called as memory. For example, if I write here b equals to, let's say, 3.14, this creates in computer, it would create a b, a variable b. This is called as variable. The name of that variable is b, and inside that 3.14 is stored. Now whenever in future I want this b, I would just write here print b and b value would be printed. Right now, computer does not know what is A. So if you try to print A, it would say that name error. Understand, a good programmer is someone who understands the error. So name error means that A is not defined. In your computer, you defined B, but you have not defined A. So that's the reason you are getting A as an error. So that is the first thing called as variables. Now, in this variable, there is a very interesting thing that is called as data types. Let's understand that. So right now, you said me, all of you, that phi value is 3.14. Now, in simple terms, if I ask you that, okay, what is the name of main character in Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma? Okay, if you watch that, tell me what is the main character name there? Tapu, Jethalal, some would say. Okay, let's imagine that there is Tapu. Now, tell me one simple thing here, 3.14 and Tapu. This are a totally different type of data. Yes. One is a name, second is a number. One is a name, second is a number. Exactly, that is called as data types. Just guys understand that even if you know this, understand how you learn the things. Whenever you learn a new topic, correlate it with stories. For example, I explained you variables. I said you that you have memory, computer has memory. Data types, there are different data types. I explained you with a story. Same way, in future, you are going to learn new concepts for generative AI. Exactly, keep the same approach. Trust me, you don't need to memorize it. In interviews, you can explain in the best way possible. So that is very important. So data types, there are four major data types in Python. Four major data types. One is, let's imagine that we have a name. So right now the name is, let's say, Gajodhar. Okay. Then we have age of Gajodhar. Let's say he is very young. Right now he is of 73 years of age. Okay. Salary of him is right now, let's keep it as 0.0. He don't earn anything. And smoker, so like he is a hero. So right now we would say that smoker is false. So these are four data types in Python. How you decide that, Akash? The first one is string data type. String basically is just a very simple term to understand it. Whatever you have in double quotes, single quotes, everything is called as string. Keep this mind, just hammer that in your mind. Everything inside quotes is called as string. Same way, you have a complete number. See, like 73 is a complete number. 8,000 is a complete number. 8,335 is a complete number. Okay. Then you have minus 2,000 as a complete number. Complete number means the number that does not have decimal point. For example, 22.7. It has a decimal point. The moment it has a decimal point, it is not an integer. Integer, like you have learned in your school days, integer is a complete number. You can say that. It can be minus 90. It can be plus some very big number also. So that is your integer. Then opposite of it exactly is float. Float is something that would definitely have a decimal point. The moment you have a decimal point, you can call it as a float number. And the last one is your boolean. The boolean is the easiest one. It has only two values, true and false. True and false. As simple as that. Right now, let's imagine that we have four space in computer that we have created. The one is name, then you have age, then you have salary, okay, then you have smoker. And all four have some values. Here we have Gajodhar, here we have 73, whatever it is. Okay, salary we have, and then we have false. Now, whenever you would call name, computer automatically would print Gajodhar. That is the real sense of computer memory. I can write here print name and it would immediately give me that name, that is Gajan. Now Akash, you said that this is string. Is there any way we can confirm that this is a string? Yes, very easily you can use a function called as type. See, I was shouting so much data types, data types, data types, data types, data types. You can keep in mind in the same way, type is a function used for that. So see, this is inbuilt function. Inbuilt function means, see, inbuilt function. Inbuilt function means functions that Python has provided. So right now Python provided us a type function, a print function. In print, you can write anything and it would print that. In type function, you give any variable. For example, if I give here name, and immediately it would say it is a string. If I write here type age, it would tell me that it is an integer. That is as simple as that. So in type, you just need to give a variable for that. So Akash, can we print all of them together? Let's try that. Okay, this is very cool. Pay attention. Now, whenever you have just one line, you can easily print that. Without using print statement also, you can print that. But when you have two lines, it would pay attention, it would ignore the top one. So in short, Jupyter gives you a very good functionality that if you have only one thing to print, I can print it without using the print statement. I can print it for you. But if you have multiple values, it is very important that you use a print statement for that. Without print statement, sorry boss, I cannot do it. So you need to write here print statement and your task is done. Now what is this class? Forget about it for a minute. Okay, we would have a session where we will understand object-oriented programming in detail. I would explain you what is class, why it is called as an object, what is a string object, what is integer object, how to make it, everything we are going to see. Right now, just focus it. Yes, it is string, it is integer here. Same way, you can print the next two also. That is name, age, then we have salary. Okay, and then we have here smoker. So we got four values printed, that is string, integer, float, boolean. We're starting the next topic, that is typecasting. Let's see typecasting now. This is really very important and really very cool also. Okay, so typecasting means to change from one type to another type. For example, why it is used? Let's say I take input from a user. Okay, like you have a calculator. Tell me, have you seen any calculator that has only fixed values? Okay, 2 and 3 is there. This calculator can only do 2 plus 3 and you would get 5 only the answer. Perfectly not. This type of calculator is of no use. Calculators allow user to enter any value. It can be 12 crores or it can be 10,000 and it would allow you to add them, multiply them, subtract them, divide them. It would take basically user input there. Only F and T will take as boolean. That's right, Venkata. Only F and T. F should be capital false and T should be capital, that is true. Okay. Now, the same way we will take user input now using input function. Now this input function, when you run it, okay, you would see inside that when you run this, you would get a box that allows user to enter any value. You can see anything you can enter inside this. And very interestingly, until and unless you enter the value, it would not allow you to do anything else. So see, if I write here print hello world, it would just keep that in a running loop and it would never be executed until you enter some value here. This needs to be very clear, the input function. See, I entered 9. All of you know that 9 is an integer. If I write here type, if I write 9, I would get here type, that is as integer. But this is a very, you can say that a big drawback of input function, that input converts everything into into string. So imagine it like that. Okay, Rahul Gandhi. So you have that machine. Here you enter Alu and you get here Sona. Exactly like that, you have this input function. Anything you enter here, it would be out as a string only. Only string, nothing else than that. Simple as that. So same thing is happening here. It is converting into string. And one more problem is there with input function, that when I run it, you see I got a box here. I don't know whether I need to enter the name, age, gender, what I should enter here. So in that case, you can give a prompt. I would just say that it would allow user to enter that, let's say, enter your age. So this is like a help message that would be displayed. See, when I run this, it is saying that enter your age. Now I know that what I need to enter here. Okay, so I would enter the age and see it got converted into string. Now you can store that in a variable in the same way. I can store that in a. Let's say the a value right now, if I enter here 4, so you can see if I print a in a, 4 would be stored but as a string. The big drawback, it is stored as a string. Now what can be done here? So basically that is the real use of typecasting. You convert from one type to another type. So from string to integer, how to do it? I would write here integer and inside that a. So see the difference. This is how you feel the difference. It was a string, you got an output as an integer. So in short, how typecasting work? Let's imagine that I have an integer value. I want to convert it into string. So this is right now my type, and this is I need to be converted in. So whatever you want the final output, Abhinav wants a string final output, so he would write string. Then he would give the brackets, and he want to convert this integer, so he would write whatever integer he wants to convert, he would write that here. So in simple terms, you want to convert it into a Sona, so Sona would be here. What you want to convert? You want to convert Alu, so you would write that Alu here. As simple as that. So let's imagine that I have one integer. Okay, let's take some values. Integer is, let's say, q is an integer that has a value, some big value. I want to convert it into string, so I would write string and q. So it is converted into string. If you have float in the same way, let's say 98.44. If you want to convert this into, let's say, integer, so I would write here integer, and automatically it would be converted into integer. Simple as that. Okay. Now here comes the most interesting part. Just try to pay attention. We have seen that we can convert it into string, integer, float. This is very normal. I can write here float, and inside that I can give some integer value. Automatically it would be converted into float. In float, if you give a string value, it would be converted into float. You can do all that basic stuff. See, this is very simple. Integer to float, float to integer, string to integer, integer to string. Okay, this all conversions are very simple. The most interesting, where you get the real knowledge, is the boolean. In Python, the false values are 0 is considered as a false value. 0 means nothing, as Python consider that nothing, so it is a false value. So 0.0 is also a false value, that is also nothing. Same way, if you have an empty string, okay, I'm saying empty string, not a string with a space. Okay, no, I'm saying completely an empty string, that is also nothing, and that is also called as false. Just you need to remember these three major cases where it is false. Rest all the values, whether it is a negative number, positive number, whether it is negative float, positive float, okay, Whether it is a very big string, whether it has only one space, everything is considered as true. This is the simple summary of typecasting. If I write here boolean and if I write here just simple a space, okay, this is also a true, but this is not true because this is without space. So these are basic things that you need to remember in your mind. Yes, true is always considered as 1 in Python. This is a very most important concept used in throughout data science also, that true is considered as 1, and I already said you that false is considered as 0. So if you write here integer of false, or let's say if you write here float of false, okay, you would see 0 for that. So if you take float, you would get 0.0. If you take a normal integer out of it, you would get there 0. Okay, as simple as that. This basic understanding is super duper important. We have seen out of it variables, data types. In short, we are going to see the operators. Operators are super useful and very easy. Very easy. A quick summary of all the operators. So there are 3 this major operators, you know that 4 plus 6, that would give you 10. This is addition operator. Okay, subtraction operator also, you know that. Multiplication operator, you know that. And division operator, you know that. See, this 4 operators I don't need to teach you. This is very pretty straightforward. But if someone don't know that, you can ask me. Now comes the next most important operator, that is called as modulus operator. Mod operator, modulus operator. Now what is the use of this modulus? If I write here 10 modulus 3, understand how it works. So 10 modulus 3, you have here 10 goes inside it, and then 3 is outside here. So basically it is 3 3s are 9. Okay, and the remainder is 1. So basically this modulus operator is used to get the remainder. This modulus operator is used to get the remainder, and you would get 1 as the remainder. As simple as that. In short, I would explain you that this operator, that is called as this division operator. Division operator is used to get the float value only. So see what happens. Right now I would explain you. Let's go deep into Python here. For example, if you take a floating number that is 19.4 and you subtract it from, let's say, 9, 19.4. Whenever you use 2 integer operators, you get the answer as integer. Very simple and straightforward. But if I use here 19.4, I subtract 9 from it, I would get the answer as floating point. Okay, even if I subtract 9.4, I would get the answer as floating point here. Floating point. Or let's subtract 2.4. Okay, see, answer would be always float. So when you have float operators, even a single float operator, okay, even a single, let's say if I remove from here integer, so you would get answer always in float. So float minus integer will also give you float. Will also give you float. Float minus float also would give you float. So even if there is a single float operator, the answer would be float. But in the division case, what happens? Even if your both the values are integer and integer, the answer would be always in float. That is a by respective answer of division, that it is always float, not integer, always float. And now this is a modulus operator. This is not a division. This is a modulus operator. Always you get a remainder there. So you got a remainder there. Then next operator that you are going to see with me is floor division operator. Floor division operator. So now, Akash, I don't want this 3.3333333335. So you would use double division and you write here 3. So how this became to 3 now? Why does Akash doesn't Why did not it became to 4? Okay, so see, many learners get confused here that Akash, right now the value is 3.3, it is less than 3.5, so I got here 3. No, it is not like that. Understand, normally it does the division. So 10 divided by 3, the answer would be 3.3. Even if it is 3.9 also, don't worry, no problem at all. But after that, the word is floor. What do you mean by floor? Okay, look in your house around you. Floor is always down, right? You know these two concepts, floor and seal. Seal is always the ceiling that is above your head, and floor is always below you. So after doing this division, it makes it to the integer which is lower than this. So 3 is lower integer than this, so that's the reason you got 3 here. So if you take, let's say I take here 3 point, if I take here 19, let's take here 20. Okay, you will try, all of the answers would be 6. Next answer, anything above 21, it would be 7. Now the next thing is, there is exponential operator. So exponential operator is very simple, 2 raised to power 5, that is 32. So 2 double star means raised to power 5. So that is 2 raised to power 5, it would be 32, as simple as that. So these are the basic 5 operators that would be used a lot. Okay, now which operator has more importance? Let's try to understand that. So for example, it follows the same rule, that is BODMAS, which you have already studied in your school. That is B stands for bracket, then O stands for it was order, yes, order. O stands for order, D stands for division, okay, M stands for multiplication, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. So this is the order. Bracket is the most important. Then order means exponential. Exponentials are second important. Now pay attention, very minute attention. Multiplication and division are of same level. Addition, subtraction are of same level. So I would take you to the real official page to explain you this in the best way possible. This is the last part in operators, then we will move to the next part. So the official page of operators is this, Python. So we will go down and yes, just a second. We want the official page of it. That explains the best way. Okay, yes. This is what I was finding for. This table explains everything in the best way possible. Let me see if I can quickly put that in our stuff also. No, this doesn't make sense here. Let's remove this. I would just take this and just a second, so that you can just go with this official documentation itself. Okay, so now see, this is the table which I was talking about. Pay attention. Some things are not important here. For example, this expressions, the first most important part is the brackets. So you can see here the brackets. That is the parenthesis. This is the most important. Then forget about this await and all that. It is not important right now. Forget about the slicing. We will see that afterwards. Exponential is the next most important. See, this is the priority. Imagine like this. This is the grandfather. This is the father. Okay. Then this also, we will not use this operators a lot, positive, negative, bitwise operators. This is the next set of operators that are important. I explained you multiplication, matrix multiplication. Again, we are not seeing that right now. You can ignore it. Division, floor division, modulus. That is used for remainder. So this, all of them have same priority. Remember that, guys. Many learners get confused here. They have same priority. Plus minus have same priority. Whichever you see together, they have same priority. And priorities goes down from up to bottom. So right now, this all have same priority. This have same priority. This has same priority. This has same priority. So now, if I tell you From this, which one you would select? From multiplication, division, which one you would select? Let's try to solve some problems. So if I have, let's say, bracket that is 5 plus 8, and then we have here exponential 2 into 2, okay, then minus of 6 exponential 6, 23, 6 exponential 2, okay, plus 8 into 5 minus 9, okay, or let's take here division. Now understand how this would work. Everyone pay 100% attention here. So first, most important, this would make your doubt super clear. Only one example would make it super clear. The most important is the bracket. So first of all, this part would be completed. So 8 plus 5, that is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this would give you 13. Then next most important is this exponential. After bracket, remember the board mass, BO. So that is order, that is exponential. So 6 raised to power 2, that is 6 6 are 36. So this would give you 36. So finally, how your expression would look? 13 into 2 minus 36 plus 8 into 5 divided by 9. Now see that after this, how it would happen? Akash, you said that multiplication, division have same priority. Then should I do division this or multiplication? Whenever you have same priority, like multiplication is same, this multiplication has same, and this division has same. First of all three do not happen together. The first priority would be, the priority goes from left to right. Okay, so first it will perform this operation. So 13 into 2, that is 26, minus, then this 36 would remain same, plus would remain same, 8 into 5, 8 5s are 40, 40 divided by 9 now. So this would happen like this. Simple as that. So now you can solve this immediately. 40 by 9. Now see that 40 by 9, I already said you that. Can you tell me one simple thing? Given this, the answer of this, what it would be, in which data type it would be? Integer or float? It would be very crystal clear. It would be in float. Even if you see, you don't need to think about it that, okay, Akash, what if it is 9 divided by 3? Then also it would be float, because there is one single float. So it is 100% sure that it would be in float. So now 40 divided by 9, whatever the answer is, then it would do this part, that is 26 minus 36. Okay, so that would be minus 10 plus, and this would be 9 4s 34 point something. So minus 10 plus 4, it would be something minus 6. Okay, so minus 5.555, that is minus something 6. We have completed the operators in detail. The complete basics of Python operators, everything is done. So now in short, we are going to understand this data structures. These are also very cool part of Python. Okay, now what do you mean by data structures? So let's understand this with a very cool story. All of you have read that we are all from the generation that you have used Oxford Dictionary. In this dictionary, if the word were not in alphabetical order, it were just randomly placed anywhere, will you be able to find the words? Okay, it would be very difficult, and it would be basically a no there. You can't find words when it is not properly arranged. Exactly this Oxford Dictionary is called as data structure. What is data structure? Data structure is a way, it is a way to store, organize, and retrieve data. Which means that I can store it very properly, like in a dictionary. I can organize it well, and I can retrieve that. Retrieve means to take out any value. For example, I want to find the meaning of word happy. I can go to H, I can search for APPY happy, and I can easily get that. That is called as data structures. So what we use here, we use the first data structure that you are going to see with me, that is list. So list basically anything that you put inside square brackets, it is called as list. Second thing, it can have duplicate values. It can have any data type. Okay. it is always ordered. I would explain you each and every term. This ordered, basically what does that means? Okay, and it is changeable. I can write here mutable also, but I would write a simple word, that is you can change it. So for example, if I write here a equals to, I'm creating the first list. Let's say the first name in that is Krupa, then you have Venkata, okay, then you have, let's say, Yogesh, then you have Abhinav, okay, then you have Anirudh. So basically a list is ready with us. Whenever I print now A, you would see it is in a list format. You would have names separated by comma. You can check the type of it in the same way. I would provide type A and you would get a list there. Now Akash, it is very clear that it is inside square brackets. You can have, you said, duplicates. Yes. So there is a list. Now I want to add another element here. Okay, let's say I want to add Shekhar. How to do it? See, use a dot and press tab. A dot, and after this you need to press tab. So what it will do? It would give you all the functions that you can do on a list. Like I can append, clear the list, I can make a copy of it, I can count, I can extend, I can insert, I can pop, I can remove, I can reverse. I can do this many stuff with a list. So let's try with append. So I would use here append and I can just write here Shaker. See the magic, when I print A, automatically Shaker is appended at the last. So how to understand, Akash, what does append does? See, always try to understand the official documentation. That is the reason I gave you this official documentation here. So if you use here help function in Python, if you say help that list dot append, you would get the information about the append function. So right now it says append the object to the end of the list. This is the simple definition, very clear-cut definition, that it appends the element at the end of the list. So Shaker is appended at the end of the list. Now let's try one more stuff here. If I try to do here a dot append, now let's say I missed some more names here. For example, I want to add Abhideep and I want to add here Sai. Abhideep and Sai I need to add. So how I can do that? See, two names we need to add, Abhideep and Sai. So I would put that in a list, okay, because there are multiple names. I would put that in a list, Abhideep, and then we have Sai. So now see, the moment I do that, it gets appended as a list. That is one of the major drawback here, that I do not want list inside list. I don't want that. I want as simple, the names are there like this, I want it. So how to do it? See, I would show you that. So once again, we will create this list from scratch. Okay. Then once again, we will add Shaker to it using append function. And then instead of using append now, I would use here the new thing, that is extend. Now see the difference. If I print A, you would exactly understand that. That basically when you use append, as it is, if you have a list, it would be appended as it is. If you have a list, it would be appended as it is, which means you would get a nested list inside list. But if you want it to append one by one, like it should take Abhideep, add that to the same list, then it should take Sai, add that to the same list, you would use extend function to it. Now see, if you read about extend function, you would understand it very perfectly. List dot extend, you would see that it is extend the list by appending elements from iterables. What do you mean by iterables? Iterables may be something which has multiple things, like list is an iterable. Okay, if you have someone's name, let's say it is Krupa, so Krupa is also an iterable because you have K there, then R there, U there, P there, and A there. So this is called as iterables. But integer is not a iterable. If you take a integer, let's say 32, that is not a iterable. 32 is considered as an integer, not a iterable. Same way for float also. So that is the difference between list, append and extend. Let's see another some functions in the same way you can do it. Now this is very simple. If you use just help dot, let's say I don't understand what is a remove function, I can use here list dot remove, and it would explain me remove the first occurrence of value. So I can just use here a dot remove, okay, and let's say I'm removing here, for example, okay, we would add some more thing here and then we will remove it. Okay, let's do this. So for example, Akash, I don't want to enter the value at end. I want it somewhere in the middle. So I can use a dot insert. Now, in between Venkata and Yogesh, I want to enter one value here. Let's say I want to enter CSK. So this is at 0 place. This is at 1 place. At basically, just you need to imagine in your mind what would be the place of CSK. It would be at the second place. So you need to write a dot insert, then 2, comma, CSK. Simple as that. And you can see that between Venkata and Yogesh, CSK is inserted. That is the use of insert function. So same way, like you can insert, you can remove also. You can use here a dot pop, and in pop you need to give the index. So index is 2. So automatically CSK is removed. So you can use a pop function. Pop function requires the index. Pay attention. If you see here help of list dot pop, you would see that it requires remove and return the item at index. So here index is required, but when you use a value, okay, see, it requires value. Sorry, when you use remove, you require value. So just let me show you this once again. Once again, I have inserted CSK in between both of them. You can see that. Now, if I try to use a dot remove 2, you would see that it gives me an error. 2 is not present in the list. So what remove does? Remove search for this 2 inside this list. There is no 2, so you get an error. So if you want to remove a CSK, you would do here a dot remove, and you would write here CSK, and it would be removed. Perfectly clear. These two steps also: append, extend, remove, pop. After doing the list, there are many things in the list. Okay, as we will proceed, we are going to see everything. You can have duplicate values also. So I can just use here a dot append, and I can make here 2 size in the session. So you would see that after size there is one more side. You can add duplicate elements inside this. You can enter any data type, not only string. You can enter any data type, like in your, let's create a new list where you have, let's say, 100 comma some floating point number. So then you have true and false. Okay, then basically inside a list of list you have one more list, inside that one more list, inside that one more list, and then you have some numbers. Okay, so in this way you can make it as simple as you want, as complex as you want. So any data type can be there. Okay, so this is how your list is. List is something that you can change. So I have already showed you that you can enter elements, you can deliver elements, you can remove it, you can keep adding it, you can keep removing in that, you can do all that stuff.
If you reach this far and enjoy learning with us, you might want to take a leap and check out our courses in data science and artificial intelligence. We have different programs from top universities in India and abroad. Check out the link in the description. Now get back to the lesson.
Now comes the most interesting part, that is tuples. Now what is tuples? What it is the use of it? Let's understand that. Tuples are something that is of round brackets, not square bracket, it is of round brackets. Second thing in tuple is that it is same, it can have duplicates. Next thing is it can have any data type. Okay. Next thing inside that is duplicate any data type. After that you have is it is also ordered. What do you mean by ordered? Okay, let's understand that. ORDER, ordered. Order means it consists of indexing. What do you mean by indexing? Everyone remember that school days when you used to have a project, you used to have an index page. So in that index page, you just used to have the title and the page number for that. What is this page number? Where the element is present. So index would just show you where your elements are present. Same way in Python, you have zero indexing. It starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is what indexing you have in Python. So for example, if you want to find out Anirudh, you would write here A, inside square brackets you would write 4. So you would get Anirudh. If you want Venkata, you would write A of 1. That is called as indexing. Same way you have negative indexing also, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, and -8. So for example, you want Abhinav, you can write -5 or you can write 3. Let's see that. If I write here A of 3, you would get Abhinav. You can also write here A of -5, that also would give you Abhinav. Just a second, it should give you Abhinav. Okay, we have added psi afterwards. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, and at -5, another is there. So if you want Abhinav, you need to give -6 there. Simple as that. If you give -6, you would get Abhinav. Okay, so we got this. Now, what can I do to make the list store value of a particular data type only? So you want that, Yogesh, it should not have any other data type, only integer, something like that? Yes, okay. So basically, see, by default, there is no rule in list for that, but you can apply a simple for loop, you can check and you can remove the elements. Or before entering the values into the list, you can check that whether what is the data type of it. For example, I have this A list. Okay, I want only the integer data types of it. I don't want any other thing. Okay, let's say I would create a new list L1, and inside that I would keep adding the elements which are of only integer data type. So by default, you cannot fix that because there is no function like that to fix it. But yes, using program, you can do that. I'm going to explain you for loop. In that, we will take this problem. Okay, very good. Now coming to tuples. Tuples basically are in round brackets. It are duplicates. It is consist of any data type. It is ordered. Ordered means that exactly ordered means indexing. So it has same indexing like list. And the most important part is, what is the change here? You cannot make the change. No change at all. Once the tuple is made, it is made for 100 years at last. So let's try to do that. I would do this simple thing. I have a list. I have a list here that is of Krupa, Venkata, Sai, Abhinav, everyone. I would just convert this into a tuple. I can write here tuple, and inside that A, and see, it is already covered in tuple. So now you can see the round brackets. Let's say once again I store that in A. Okay, so now my A is a tuple that has multiple values. Next part, we got the tuple. So let's try to change this tuple now. Akash, you said you can't change it, but let's try to change it. I would do A dot append, and it would immediately give you a very tight slap that tuple does not have anything called as append. So what thing tuple has? You can again use A dot press tab, and only two things are there. That is a index function and a count function. So first of all, where it is used in industry, like this thing, Akash, where it is used in industry. So it is called as read-only nature. Tuple is called as read-only nature. Now tell me one thing, guys, you will never forget after this. When you buy a book, you can make any changes in this book. You can add your own notes inside that. You can highlight something, you can color something. Yes, when you buy a book, Yes, you have all the rights to do that. No one can stop you by doing this. But tell me, if you take a book from library, can you do that? Perfectly no, you cannot do that. So basically that type of books are called as read only nature. So imagine it like a thing that, for example, you want you are working for Truecaller company. Now this Truecaller has a very big database of everyone name and phone number. Now you are, let's say, a premium member of this Truecaller. So tell me, premium member, does it mean that, let's imagine that Krupa is a premium member of Truecaller. She can change this directory. She can change anyone numbers. She can do that. Again, a big no. This is the perfect example of read only nature. So Truecaller, even if you are a premium member, they would only allow you to read this. You don't have any permission to change the values inside it. You cannot change the values inside it. So that is the real use case of where tuples are used in industry. You can only read it. Okay, you can get everyone's phone number, but you cannot change anyone's phone number. Coming to the next part, we have understood this basic of tuple. Now, the last concept in tuple is packing and unpacking. This is also a very good functionality provided to you by Python. So for example, I have three values now, a comma b comma c, and my three values are 10 comma 20 comma 30. It would perfectly run. Okay, it would give me the values. See how this works. This is perfectly called as unpacking. This is perfectly called as unpacking. Understand, there are two concepts here. First of all, whenever you enter a value like this, you should understand that by default it is an tuple. So Python's favorite data structure is by default tuple, because tuples are very fast. So by default, if you don't give a data type, it would not convert it into list. It would only convert it into tuples. So basically it got converted into tuple. This concept is called as packing. This concept is called as packing. What is packing? When you have multiple values, it is packed. It is packed as a tuple. Okay, it is packed as a tuple. And when you have multiple values and multiple variables, how it runs? A go into 10 goes into A, B goes 20 goes into B, and C 30 goes. So you would get A value as 10, B as 20, and C as 30. So this is the next important concept in tuple called as packing and unpacking. Next part, let's start with sets. Sets are also pretty straightforward. Now set starts with a curly braces. Okay, then sets cannot have no duplicates. This is the main use of sets, to remove duplicates. Okay, it is not ordered. I already explained you not ordered means, which means that it does not support indexing. And the last thing here is, yeah, I think that's enough. So let's create a set. So for example, I ask you, what is your favorite color? So let's say someone says that it's black, then someone says that it's blue, then someone says that it is green, then again someone says that it is blue. Okay, and we get here, let's say once again green, then orange juice. Okay, and then we get here black. So now see, when I print A, you would automatically see that all the duplicate values are removed and you have only unique values, that is black, blue, green, orange. Black, blue, green, orange. Now it does not follow any pattern. Like for example, if I keep orange here in the starting also, okay, you would see that the order is completely gone. Orange is still at the last. Now many of you would feel that, okay, it is alphabetically sorted, but that alphabetically sorted is also no sense, because this sorting would completely go if I add, let's say, a number here, or if I add, let's say somewhere a big value here, that is AL, so you can see that the sorting is completely gone. So in short, you don't need to care about in which order it is, because sets are not used to keep anything in order. You cannot apply indexing on it. I cannot say A of 0. It would say that it is not subscriptable. Subscriptable means you cannot provide index on top of it. This is super important for sets. Now then, Akash, what is the use of sets? You said that, okay, you should be able to retrieve elements. Now from this, I cannot retrieve any element. Let's understand what is the use of it. So it is like this. You remember from your school days, you used to have that Venn diagram, intersection, union, subtraction, deletion, that things you can do on sets. For example, I would show you the industry use case of it. Imagine that we have Vodafone. Okay, right now Vodafone has, let's say, some subscribers. I'm creating a set here. So subscribers are like this. Let's say Gajodhar is the subscriber of Vodafone. Then you have Ajju. Then you have Maju. Then you have Ajinder. Then you have Kemal. Okay, some random names I'm writing. Okay, and yeah, I think that's enough. Now we have another subscriber with us, with his Geo. Now what Geo has, Geo also have some subscribers. Let's say Gajodhar is there in both of them, both SIM he uses. Then we have Aman who uses Geo. Then we have Arman who uses Geo. Then Ajinder is also there, which uses both the SIMs. And then, yes, two ones are there which uses both the SIMs. Is single quote and double quotes are same? Yes, Krupa. Single, double are perfectly same. So I can put Gajodhar into double quotes or single quotes, that doesn't matter. Okay. Coming to the next part now, we have created the user base for two companies, Vodafone and Jio. Just imagine that there are millions of customers. Okay. Right now, if I ask you which is the common customers in both of them, tell me which are the common customers. Akash, is very simple. It is Gajodhar and Ajinder. So I can simply use here Vodafone dot intersection. Okay. And I can give Jio inside that. And you would get the intersection of both of them, which are the common customers. So for example, tomorrow they try to merge, like Vodafone and Idea merge, they would know that how many common customers are there in between them already. Same way they want to find, okay, let's say I want to only find the Vodafone customers. So I would use here difference to see that from Vodafone, Gajodhar and Ajinder, they both are removed. Why? Because I only want to see Vodafone customers. They are completely loyal to Vodafone. These customers have no SIM of Jio up till now. So these are only the what you call as loyal customers of Vodafone. So how this works? So you have these two sets. This is A, this is B. Intersection means the common of them. When you take difference A minus B, so this is Vodafone, this is Jio. A minus B means only the A part. These are called as loyal customers. Same way you can find the loyal customers for Vodafone, for Jio also in the same way. That is called as difference. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can apply on set. That is the main use of set, to find the common elements, disjoint elements, non-common elements, this all stuff, and majorly to remove the duplicates, we use sets. Okay, so that was sets. Now the next part of it, that is dictionary. Now what is dictionary? Dictionary is again encoded in curly brace. It is always in key and a value pair. Key and a value pair, always it would be in a key and a value pair dictionary. Okay, it is mutable, you can change the dictionary. Then basically what you can else do is, it is also unordered. Simple as that. Now let's create our first dictionary. Okay, but before that, tell me guys, if I create an empty basis, what would be the type of D? It would be dictionary only. Now you can start creating your dictionary like this. So let's say I'm writing here Hindi. Hindi value is, let's say I'm saying 1. So I can keep string as a key. Then I can keep here, so I can keep string as a key. See, what I'm explaining you is my string is key. My string is key, that is Hindi is key. And I have value as an integer. Value as a integer. I can keep this part. Then let's try, can I keep integer here and then Hindi? Yes, that also I can do. So integer can also be a string. Integer can also be a key. Then let's see the next part of it. So we have seen string, integer. Let's see a full float value to 78.9, and we will give this as, let's keep integer. We have done string. We have done. Let's keep a boolean value. Yes, you can keep a boolean value also as a value. String, integer, boolean. Let's try to keep here boolean now. And here we have kept float value. Let's try to keep it 79.89.3. Yes, you can make this dictionary perfectly. Your dictionary is ready. So how this works, pay attention everyone. Pay attention everyone, and there is a very interesting thing. Pay attention. So first of all, the thing is very simple that you can keep in key. See, the first part that you see, the Hindi, the 1, the 78.9, these are called as key. So in key, you can keep integer, you can string, you can keep string, you can keep boolean, you can keep float. Anything you can keep. Okay, but now see what happened. Hindi is stored as 1. Then I stored 1 as Hindi. But you see 1 as 89.3. 1 is considered as true. See, basically when you keep true here, true is considered as 1. Now you cannot have duplicate keys. So tell me, a same word happy, can you find that at two different places in dictionary? No. Same way you cannot have multiple same keys. So true is also considered as 1. We have already seen above. So that because of that, this true is considered as 1. And now the final value of 1 is 89.3 and not Hindi. It overrides the old value. So this part is overwritten. Overwritten means it is updated. So this is your dictionary. Now, if you want to find, let's say I want to find what is the value of Hindi, I would write here D. Inside that, I would write the key name, that is Hindi. So I would get automatically 1. If you want to see what is the value of 78.9, so you would write D 78.9, you would get true. You would get true there. Same way you can check here D of 1 and you would get 89.3. So in this way you can give here the dictionary name, and inside dictionary name you just give the value that is your key and you would get the value. Now if you want to add a new key value pair inside that, you can write D. The new key name is, let's say, false, and I'm saying that false equals to dancing in the chair, dancing on the chair with a monkey. Okay, so you would see that in D a new value is added, that is false. Okay, and that is dancing on a chair with a monkey. So we would try to do D of 0 also here, that is equals to 67. Okay, and you would see that now automatically that 0 value is converted to false and the false value is updated. So you need to keep in mind 0 stand for false, 1 stand for true. It would keep updating the values. So for conditional statements, there is a very interesting thing. Okay, they are called as, see, the next topic that you are learning with me, they are called as control structures. Control structures. So what is the use of this control structure and what do you mean by a control structure? So everyone in your childhood days, you have played that, okay, using that remote controller, okay, that games, okay, all that stuff. You used to have a button remote controller, yes. So basically using this remote control, you used to control your character. Very simply, you can control your character using this controller. That is called as controlling someone. Same stuff would go here. For now tell me what would be the output. Okay, everyone try this. Print 1, then I have here print 2, print 3, print 4. Okay, so tell me what would be the output of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple. There is nothing to think. Computer needs to think anything here? Perfectly no. It is a straightforward approach that is going on. Now, the most important and interesting thing here is, if I write here that if your age is greater than 18 or equals to 18, then only you can vote. Okay, else print you cannot vote Chintu. Okay, so something like that I am writing. Pay attention here. What is the use of it and what I am doing here. So basically, up till now, we have age here. Let's say the user age is right now 19. So right up till now, the thing was going very straightforward. Like it started from the first line, second line, third line, fourth line. So it is going in a sequential pattern. But now onwards, you have given Python the control. What is the control? It would check some condition here. So for example, you are on the gate. Let's say you are trying to enter a club. There is one bouncer at this gate. This person would check your age. If your age is greater than 18, then you can go inside allowed. You are allowed to go inside. Else, he would not allow you. So basically, you are completely controlled by this bouncer now. You are completely controlled by this bouncer. Exactly same thing happens here. If age is greater than equals to 18, you give colon here. And now understand that. All of you tell me one simple thing. Every king has some area that he can rule. Can a single king rule on complete world? He might have some area, right? He cannot rule on complete world. So he can only rule some area. Exactly, your if and else statement also have some area under them to rule. For example, this is the area. So this is if. Now after this colon, whatever space you give here, this is called as indentation. This indentation basically is 4 tabs. You can call it as 4 tabs, or you can, one tab. It is 1 tab, or you can call it as 4 space. So in short, your rule is still there. Your rule is still there till you have this indentation. For example, if I write here print vote, so see, it would print vote only. If I write here print dance, so it would print dance also. Now whatever I would write in this extra space, that is controlled by if. Imagine it like this. You will never forget the indentation. So whatever you want that it should be controlled by a if statement, you would write inside this indentation. You would write inside the indentation. For example, you do not want that this part should be printed. You cannot vote Chintu. So that we have written in the else part. So let's imagine that if someone's age is, let's say, only 9 years, you can see that it has checked this condition. 9 is greater than equals to 18. No, this is false. The moment this is false, anything of this king is not printed. Vote is not printed, dance is not printed, and it directly jumped to the else part, and this part is printed that you can vote Chintu. This is the use of if and else statement. Now let's see some more examples in this. Now the next example is, I have now this time marks. Marks are any marks you can get. Let's say 67. And I'm writing here if marks is greater than 75. Okay, in that case, if marks is greater than equals to 75, in that case, print excellent. Okay, I would write one more if marks is greater than equals to 50. Okay, in greater than equals to 50, in that case, you need to print good. Okay, one more if I would write here, if marks is greater than equals to 35, I would write here print average, and else I would just print here not fit. Okay, now these things I have done. So according to you, tell me the marks are 67. What you should get as an answer? You should get good. That's right. You are lying in this area which is greater than 50, so you should get good. But now see what Python does. You got good and average both. So understand how this works. Very cool it is. Understand that. So for example, imagine that if every if is a door. This is the first if of 75 marks. This is second if of 50 marks. Okay, let's imagine that these are three separate if. Now, just imagine that every door has gold behind it. Let's imagine that only one door has a gold behind it. Only one door. And Venkata got a chance to open these doors. So what he does, he comes here and he opens the first door. He got the gold. So according to the situation, okay, according to the story, he should not open the next two doors. But what Venkata thinks, that there is no problem in opening the door. It would be good if I get more gold. Okay, there is no wrong in that. There is there is no demon behind it. There is no Rakshas. There is no death behind it. Nothing would happen even if you open this door. So he opens this door also. He opened this door also. Understand from the story that whenever you have if, it would check all the conditions. So first it check this condition. 67 is greater than equals to 75. This is immediately false. So this excellent is not printed. Then 67 is greater than equals to 55. Is greater than 50. Very good. So he got good printed. Then C. Even if Venkata got gold here, this good is printed, he would again check this door. 67 is greater than equals to 35. Yes, that is also the case. So it printed average also. So you got average also. See, immediately within a second, this problem would be solved. Akash, this is not a good program. Yes, we can make this program good within a second. I would just write here elif. I would write here elif. Now see, when you understand from this story, you would immediately see that your problem is solved. First of all, is the problem solved? Yes or no? Yes, the problem is 100% solved. This is the perfect example of writing the code. Now, how this else if work, Akash? What is the difference in elif and if? So coming back to the same story, in if basically you check all the doors. In else if, understand the difference. This is first one is if, you cannot start with else if. Then you have elif. Then you have elif. Now it goes in sequential pattern. It would check the first door. Now understand the meaning of this door. This is else if. Else if means else. Else means if this part is false. Which means if Venkata do not got gold in this, then only come to this else if. If you got the gold in this door, you cannot open this door. If you open this door, you would be in the death scenario. You would completely die. So that exactly happens here. It would check the first condition, 67 greater than equals to 75, false. So it would go to else if now. Because the above condition is false, it goes to else if. it would check this condition. It is true, so it would print good, and rest all the condition it would never check. This would never check, this would never check. So that's the reason average is not printed, not fit is not printed. Now let's move to the next point of it. The last thing for today, and then we will see a lot of problems. We have half an hour for that, all the problems only. And this is for loop. For loop and while loop, both we are going to see. Now, what is the use of this loop? To repeat anything, we use loops. For example, for I can write here for I in range of 100, which means that go from 1 to 100, and I would just write here print that dancing. Okay, so you would get dancing printed 100 times. That is the use of loop. To repeat anything, you use loops. To repeat anything, you use loops. So in simple terms, what happens here? Understand that this range is like a range object that would give you the values from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this zeros goes into I. Then you would print here, print dancing. Then it would again go up. It would take I value would be incremented to 1. Then it would again print dancing. So you can print the I values also here, give a comma, print I, and you would perfectly understand that. 0, 1 till 99 it would go. This is called as your simplest for loop. As simple as that, this is called as for loop. Now you would understand more about this for loop, how to work on it, how to use if and else statement when you would see a tons of problems. So let's get ready, and I'm going to start giving you here the questions. So let's start with some if and else loop type of questions so that you get very perfect on that. Here is your first problem, everyone. Write a program to find. Okay, so this is your question. Write a program to search a given number from a list. So you have been, let's say you have been given with a list. Okay, and you have one number to found here. Let's say the number to be found is 34. Okay, so everyone try this. This is your question. You need to tell me at which position this 34 is present. So let's see the solution now. Very simple. You can use here two things, and the best way I am explaining you how it can be done quickly. So you can write here for I in enumerate. Now this is a new function. If you don't know about it, this is enumerate function. Inside this enumerate, basically you write your list, that is L1. It would give you a counter object that counts the index for it. So for counter I in enumerate L1. Now value to be found, I would just write if value to be found equals to I. In that case, you would just write here print found, and you can print the counter value, as simple as that. And once I have found that value, I don't need to continue searching it. Okay, only I want the first value of it. I can use here just simple break. So I would break the program. Now in that case, if I'm not able to find the value, I would write else outside the if loop, and I would write here print not found. Exactly understand how it works. This is a very simple code. So right now I'm checking one by one value here starting from 3. The moment I got 34 here, I'm printing found and I'm printing the index of it. So we got the index. After this, we will break the loop, which means that after this, I would not search for any other value. And what is the use of this else? Let's imagine that there is a value which is not present at all. That is 134. So it would search all the values. Okay. And it never got break. So when this else works only if there is no break. So as you were not able to find the element, there was no break. So you got printed this. So this is the next question for all of you. Think for it, solve it. This is really very cool. Create a new list from a given to list using the following condition. So what is the condition? Given a to list of number, write a program to create a new list such that the new list should contain odd number from first list and even numbers from second list. You have been given with the to list. You need to create a new list, the odd numbers from this list, even numbers from this list. So right now, how to do it? There is a very simple way. You can take this list one by one also. You can take them together also. Whatever you find it is easy. So when nothing is mentioned that what should be order and all that, so you don't need to care about order. So very simple. I would take the first list for I in L1. Okay, I would just check that if I modulus, everyone stop coding, okay, pay attention. If I modulus 2 is not equals to 0, this is the real meaning of odd. Okay, this means odd. If it is odd, we need to append that in L3 because first list we want only the odd numbers. So L3 dot append I, simple as that. Same thing I would do for L2 now. Okay, in this I just want should be equals to 0. This would give me even numbers. It was as simple as that. If you print L3 now, you would get the final output in the same way which we were expecting. Okay, so this is the final output. All the odd numbers from this, you can see that automatically the even numbers like 234 was removed, 46, 56 was removed. And even if this has different type of list, like different elements of list, for example, if I add here 79, that is the length are different, still this would work perfectly fine. This is now very interesting question. Try this also, guys. Write a program to print all the combinations, all the unique combination of 2-digit from 1 to 4. So what I want unique combinations like 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, I don't want 2, 1 now once again. So how you started all of you for I in range of 1 to 5. Okay, so basically this would give you all the values of I. So if you print I, you would get 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Now inside this you have written one more loop for j in range of again 1 to 5 here. See that if I write here 1 to 5 once again, now if I print here print I comma j, you would see we will get all the combinations 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4, then 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4. Understand it step by step. So 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4, then 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4. Then basically Akash, I don't want this 2 2, I don't want this 1 1. So first of all, how to reject them? It's very simple. If it is I and j are same, reject them. Very good. So let's do that. So first of all, I would just write here if I equals to j. In that case, I don't want to print. So I would just write here if I is not equals to j, then only print ij. So see, immediately all the duplicate elements are removed. Like 1 1 is removed, 2 2 is removed, 3 3 is removed, 4 4 is removed. But again, we have 1 2 here. We don't want 2 1. See, we have 1 2, 1 3, 2 1. Then we have here 2 1, 2 3, 2 4. Then we have 3 1, 3 2, 3 4. Then 4 1, 4 2, 4 3. Now think for it a minute what we don't want. 1 2 is already done. We don't want this. 2 3 we want, 2 4 we want. That is for sure. Then 1 3 is already done. So 3 1 we don't want. 2 3 is also done. So we don't want 3 2 also. Then same way 4 1, 1 4. Just a second. Here it should be 1 4. Yeah. So 1 4 is done. We don't want 1 4 or 4 1 also. 2 4 is done. We don't want 4 2 also. 3 4 is done. We don't want 4 3 also. Now try to find the pattern in this. See, basically we want, this is your I, this is your j. This is your I, this is your j. If you pay attention, j loop, we want it greater than I. See, here I is 1, you got 2. So we want to start a j loop I plus 1. So j loop should be, think for it, I plus 1. Right now my I value is 1. So my j loop starts from 2. My I value is 2. My j loop starts from 3. My I value is 3. My j loop starts from I plus 1. That is 3 plus 1. So instead of starting the j loop from 1, I would start it from I plus 1. That's it. My problem is solved, and exactly 6 elements I would get. 1 2 1 3 1 4. 23, 24, 34. So this was the complete stuff from my side for Python. We have covered all the 99% of the Python we have tried to cover here. I wish all of you best of luck. Would make your learning journey the best. Everyone, thank you so much for being such a big support. Keep learning, stay connected. Bye bye, everyone. Take care.
If you found this video useful, make sure to hit the like button, share it with others, and subscribe for more helpful content. For more recommendations beyond YouTube suggestions, take a peek at the description for additional data science courses.